Assalamualaikum and a very good day. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to learn how to prepare a statement of cash flows under indirect method using the 6 steps color-coded approach. And under indirect method, normally you'll be given a question that consists of a draft financial statement. And in this question, you are given a draft financial statement for 2 years of a company, limited company called Aman, right? And they have the details here, which are on 31st of December 2017 and 31st of December 2018. All the assets and liabilities are being listed, equities as well, and with the total. And there are also some additional information at the bottom here, where this additional information that you have at the bottom will help you to prepare the cash flow accordingly. So let's start now. So the first step that you should do is, of course, you have the question here. So I have put that question here in this blue section here, and where you have the statement of financial position and the additional information as I mentioned to you earlier. Right. So what we need to do now is we need to follow some steps to prepare the cash flow. So let us start with the first step. Our first step is we're going to draw the template. So we're going to draw the template for the cash flow. So prepare the statement of cash flow template. So if we prepare the template, we need to prepare the right template for the indirect method. So we're going to prepare that template for the company called Aman, right? So for Aman, you can prepare a blank template, something like this that I'm going to show you here. First you can start by putting the name of the company, the name of the company, Aman, and the title of the statement of cash flow. Then you can put the heading of the statement of cash flow first from the operating activities. And as you know, the starting point is profit before tax, right? So you can also put the adjustment for non-cash and non-operating items as part of the first few information that you will provide in your statement of cash flow. And that is very important, adjustment for non-cash and non-operating item, the one that I will go into detail. And then some few lines for your adjustment of the non-cash and non-operating items. And then for the working capital changes, then you will then get your cash generated from operation. So you can proceed up till you get the cash flow from operating activities, in this italic font here. And then you put your cash flow from investing, just the blank template. Cash flow from financing, leave like a few items or row for you to include your items depending on the question. If they have many information, you should leave many rows. And then the last part, which is the key answer to the cash flow, which will be your cash and cash equivalent schedule, right? So later that one will be prepared, but here you're going to just draw the template. Okay, and you can see that in this section where I have the section that I put here, net increase in cash and cash equivalent, I still leave it blank, right? Because I will insert whether a decrease or an increase later, but you will have to work out from that actually. Okay, after you have drawn the template, let's look at the step 2. What is step 2? Step 2 is that you need to label correctly the opening, which is 2017 column, opening, and the closing balances. In the statement of financial position or the balance sheet, if you may call it. You need to go and determine the balance correctly. So you can do the labeling like this, like what I've done here. Yeah, you can put 2017 as opening and closing. And then you need to determine the net changes in cash and cash equivalent. So first you go and determine what are the changes in cash and cash equivalent. To do that, you can create one column, extra column to the right side of your closing column. You will create the so-called changes column, and you create this changes column, right? And we will first do for our item here, which is cash and cash equivalent. So we have to find out what is cash and cash equivalent. So this is the item, one of it. So I'm going to use some color coded classification here. So I take green for my cash and cash equivalent, and I'm looking at if there is one more. So I will read the information. Yes, the short-term investment were part of cash and cash equivalent. So I will also highlight this, and I will now find out what is the net increase in that cash and cash equivalent. Okay, so the first item here shows an increase of 40,000, which is from short-term investment, and the bank balance shows an increase of 90,000. What to do is you take the closing balance minus the opening balance. So if you have a positive balance, means that shows maybe there is an increase. There is an increase due to the cash flow movement, right? Okay, so that one, these two will have to be included here. Yeah, you have to include here. So cash and cash equivalent at the end of the year would be, at the end of the year, this plus this. So you'll have 550,000, and the cash and cash equivalent at the beginning of the year would be the one from short-term investment plus the one that you have under your bank account. So that will be 420,000. With that, you know that you will get your net increase or net decrease in cash and cash equivalent. It looks like there is a net increase of 130,000. So now you can put those effect or those changes in your statement. Okay, you do that. Net changes in cash and cash equivalent here would be net increase. So net increase in cash and cash equivalent. So I've also prepared for you the cash and cash equivalent schedule, right, at the bottom here, where you can see that I put the details of what are the cash and cash equivalent. I just copy and paste from my statement of financial position here, right, and then I include it here. Okay, and I will now color code my statement. You can do that if you like to follow me, right? Next is to do step 3. What is step 3? Okay, step 3 is right here. Where step 3, what you need to do is that you need to classify the remaining items that we have not yet classified. How do we classify it? We color code them according to different colors, right? So we're going to color code these activities or these activities in your, or your items in your statement of financial position, your asset. You're going to see which one relates to investing, which one relates to financing, and lastly, you are going to find out what are relating to your operating activities, because there are 3 types of activities. And remember, we are done with our cash and cash equivalent. So I'll do the first one, which is my operating activities. I'm going to leave it last. So I'm going to do my first thing first, which is my investing activities. So investing activities is related to your acquisition and disposal of non-current asset, including investment. So I'm using blue here. Okay, and that is also going to be investigated in terms of the changes. So we're going to also check for the changes. Okay, then I will go on looking if there is any other things that relates to that. No more. So now I go on, that one relates to investing activities, the blue there. The third one is that I'm going to look for my financing activities and I will color code them. Financing activities is related to issuance of shares, issuance of equity, share capital, issuance of loan, issuance of non-current liabilities. So I will just focus on the section on share capital and equity, right? I took the section there and I'm going to use brown for my color code. So the same thing should be done here. We find out the changes, right? The net changes. Next, we go and check another item here. So this one I classified under my financing activities. You can also put dividend payable under operating. But in my presentation, I opt for the requirement under financing, right? The rest of the item that you have here, right? There's one more here that I left. Okay. The rest of the item, trade payable, tax payable, accrued distribution expenses, yeah, these are all going to be color code as, we are going to color code them as our using purple, yeah, to show that that was related to operating activities. Purple. Okay, done. We're done with that. So now we can start doing our statement of cash flow by going to the next step. Our next step is step 4. Let us look at step 4. Okay, step 4. After you have done all this, what you need to do is you can reconstruct your T account to find out transactions with cash flow effect. Remember, all this might give an indicator that there is a net increase or net increase or net increase in cash flow. However, you need to go and check further on other transaction with cash flow effect, right? So we need to see, first we are going to start off with the investing activities and then the financing activities, and later you can focus on non-cash transaction as you do your reconstruction of the T account. So we're going to do the adjustment and reconstruct the accounts to find out if there are items that relates to non-cash transaction. So you can do that, yeah, together with me. But I'm going to do today step 4 and step 5 together because we are now doing the indirect method. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to now focus on my cash flow from operating activities first, so that we can have a clear picture on how do we prepare cash flow using the indirect method, because the presentation under indirect method for cash flow from operating activities is what makes the difference between the two methods, namely the direct and indirect method. Okay, so we're going to determine the cash flow from operating activities. So to determine the cash flow from operating activities, there are several steps here. So that one, I'm now going to do step 4 and 5 together actually. So, but our focus is because we want to prepare cash flows from operating activities to have this clear picture of what are the techniques. So first thing first is that first you can find out what is the profit before tax. So this is under step 5. Step 5 is to determine the cash flow from operating activities. So under step 5, you have this step 5A, you need to find out the profit before tax. And then you need to find out that second one. Later we'll do that, but let us find out the profit before tax. So for profit before tax, sometimes it's not given, but in this question it is given. So let's just go and get the figure. The profit before tax is given here in this part. Yeah, this part of the question, you are given the profit before tax. So we'll take the profit before tax, right, which is 555, yeah, 555,000. So 555,000, we will put it here. Okay, then we will go on looking for the adjustment of non-cash and non-operating item. So non-cash and non-operating item, I'm going to use turquoise. Yeah, so I'm going to put a color here, and this is turquoise, right? I use that color. So let us just find what are the non-cash and non-operating items. These are items that are related to those that do not have any cash effect, and non-operating items refers to any income or expenses which are not generated from the operating activities but somehow has cash effect. That was non-operating items. For non-cash, it is non-cash transaction that was included in the preparation of the income statement or statement of profit or loss, but that does not relate to cash. Remember, we are preparing a statement of cash flow, so we need to go and adjust that item. So let us look at what are the non-cash items in case we are directly given. So let us just check the information. The short-term investment, so this one done. Yeah, then we're not going to do anything with that because this is cash and cash equivalent. So that color will tell you that was cash and cash equivalent, right? Okay. Next. Included in the admin and selling expenses were depreciation on machinery of 180,000. So that one is telling you that is a non-cash item, and the first non-cash item is your depreciation. So I put here depreciation. So for the item depreciation, you are going to add. Add means because before this you deduct, so now you will do the revise to go and adjust out the depreciation, and that depreciation was how much given there? 180,000. Next, we'll just check first if you have anything that could relate to you. So this one is your non-cash item, right? Non-cash item. Next, sold treasury share. So this one I will just leave it because this one is related to your investing activity. So I will just KIV that first. Then you have this investment income. So when you prepare your cash flow, your investment income must be adjusted in your non-operating item, which is the section here. Why? Because the investment income is those income that you generate from investing activities, but somehow was included here. So we need to go and remove that. How much is the investment income? So I will put it here, investment income. Income that you earn. Go and check your asset section if you have any receivable, dividend receivable, investment income receivable being shown. If you have, you may have to set up your T accounts, but for this one you do not need to set up the T account. Whatever the investment income that you earn here, right, investment income that you earn would also be the investment income that you receive. So how much is that? It is 80,000. And for this one, because it is an income, we are going to deduct. So here I put here less. Okay. Next, we'll check for other things given. So done with this. Done. So I put some color here, right? Okay, we are done with that. Next, investment income. Investment income, 80,000. So the same thing will also appear under your investing activities. So I'm going to put here investment income received. Investment income can also be in the form of interest income. If you have interest income, you can also include that under your investing activities, but this is what you actually receive. But today what you actually receive is also what you earn, so we just put it as it is, 80,000, the same figure. The next item is to find another non-cash item. Let us check. Done for this, right? Which is our item under investing activities, right? And then interest expense. Interest expense amounted to 35,000. So let us check if there is any information on the interests that are accrued. For example, yes, you have it here. This one, the one that I bold in the font that is for interest payable. You have the beginning balance of 0, ending balance of 35,000. So this one you may have to construct the T account. I've done some reconstruction of the T account, which is step 4. So first put the balance brought down. You have any balance brought down? Yes, you don't have any. And that was none. I put 0 here. And then put the balance carried down. Carried down, and the balance carried down is 35,000. And now you are being informed that the interest expense for the year was 35,000. So if it's 35,000, means the one that goes to the statement of profit or loss, SOPL, SOPL as I call, is 35,000. If that is the case, we're trying to find out this actually, how much is the interest that are being paid, right? So if that was the case, there were no interest being paid during the year. So the interest were just accrued interest, because what you have in the statement of profit or loss, right, was 35,000 as well, as compared to also the same balance that you have in your here in your statement of financial position. So there are no interest paid, but there are just an adjustment for non-cash, a non-operating item, which is interest. So we need to put here the interest expense. So the interest expense here is same 35,000, meaning that you can just take from your figure here. Here, this one. Yes. Then we are done with that. Next, we can just do this for what you have done. Okay, done. We are done with also our item bank balance. Done. Done. Okay. And then you also have made the adjustment for the interest expense here. At the same time, interest must also be shown here, because to show the ability of the company to pay the interest out of the operating cash flow. So the interest paid is also the same as interest expense, which is none. So I put here no figure. Okay, I put here just a dash, which shows nothing to be paid. Okay, next one is, sorry, it should be here. Okay, nothing. Okay, we will stop a while and we will continue with the remaining discussion, remaining answer in my next video. We will focus on the operating profit before working capital changes. With that, I thank you. See me in my next tutorial video for this question. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'll see you when I will see you.